Hey there, magical beings. Day 7 of 13 nights of Samhain. I'm Hexa and this is Natural Witchery. Today's prompt is share with us a spell, craft, or divination for Samhain. And I am going to share all three. Basically, I'm going to share a craft, which is actually a spell as well. And then I'm going to share a divination with you. And I hope you'll stick around till the end. I have a really super cool announcement about that community I've been trying to create, so stay tuned for that. Quick reminder that I have put timestamps at the bottom so you can kind of skip around to what you're interested in. But I hope you'll stay till the end, and if you do, then please give me 3 emojis that speak to what your Samhain season is feeling like for you right now. And of course, I want to hear what you're doing, like what you're crafting, what you're creating, what you're sharing, what this season means to you. So let's jump into it. So today I am going to be making a talisman. If you're not familiar with the difference between talismans and amulets, a talisman is something that draws energy towards you, usually like it's imbued with some kind of symbol. Amulets can be too, and an amulet usually wards against evil. So I'm kind of creating a combo in a way, but the idea is to really draw psychic energy towards me and also this liminal time of the year while creating something that allows the energy to be a little bit softer, a little bit more enveloping, a little bit kinder. So I'm going to be using a couple different herbs from my garden, and then I am also going to be using this black tourmaline here. Can you see that black tourmaline? So there's my black tourmaline, and I like this for just keeping away negative energy because as I'm drawing energy to me, I really want to be selective about what that is. And so I'm going to be using this black tourmaline in there. And I'm just going to be using a good old organza bag. I'm really big on these. They come in all sorts of, I'm constantly getting them when I order things. So I just keep those in a little place. And then I have them in all different shapes and sizes and colors that are ready for me when I want to do something like this. And then I just reuse them. You can wash them, smoke cleanse them, and then reuse them. I absolutely knew that I wanted mugwort for this talisman because of the way that it is so powerful in drawing psychic energies. If you're looking for otherworldly, mugwort is it. Lavender to me has a calming effect, but it also is like comfortable. It's inviting, and I really wanted these psychic energies to feel inviting to me, so lavender felt like just a natural ally to include. Next up is my friend rosemary. I put together my petition that I was going to put inside. You could write symbols on here, you can do whatever you want, but mine was basically just a petition that I wrote out with my intent drawing the psychic energies to me. And then I decided I would seal it with white wax, which turned out to be, oh my gosh, a lot of work. After I finally got this rolled up, I found myself having to coat and recoat. And I was blowing on the wax to cool it, which is awesome because when we breathe on things, we breathe life into it. And this is just an example of how sometimes accidents add really cool elements to our spells. I chose the bag color based on what I have. I'm really committed to using what I have instead of getting into a consumer mindset. In the end, I went with a maiden mother crone sort of thing, and so I've got the red writing for the mother. The maiden is the white wax that surrounds this whole thing, and I love the idea of my personal innocence and openness to the universe, like that playfulness that we have when we're young and in our youth, the vitality of the maiden encapsulating my prayer, which is in the blood of the mother, and then held within the wisdom of the crone. So that's why I chose what I did. And this just sort of evolved as I went along. It's not like I completely planned this out. And a lot of my spells tend to be this way. I had a basic idea of what I wanted to do, but I just kind of let the magic carry me. And it all started off in the garden with the herbs that called out to me. So first things first, I am going to ground my spell by adding my stone. This is the earth element, and I just feel like this is grounding the whole thing before I add anything to this at all. And next, I want to make a bed that's soft and sweet and attractive for my petition to sit in. And so I'm going to take some of my mugwort flowers, and I just loved the idea of using these mugwort flowers. The idea of the fruitful time, the fruition of the plant itself, of mugwort, grandmother mugwort here in there, and maybe just a little bit more. And I'm going to take some of these leaves as well. I'm going to keep just a couple of these to dry for a smoke, like for smoking and inhaling for dream work. So I'm not going to use them all. And then I've got my rosemary. She's a guardian. She's someone that I work with that brings great wisdom and grounding and even protection. So I'm going to put her in there. And then, of course, for the dreaminess, I'm going to be adding, I have the mugwort for psychic dreams and psychic intuition, but I'm going to add the lavender flowers next. Put them in there, kind of get this all ready to go. And now I have this lovely soft place for my petition to land in, and then I'm going to add my petition. I'm going to do this off camera because I'm going to center myself as I do so, and then I will seal the bag up with the words of my petition as well. And I have to tell you, as I was closing this up, I just had like an impromptu rhyme that came to me that I prayed and chanted over this. And I feel really good about the energy of this talisman and how it's going to be drawing to me the wisdom that I need for this time and all of the different herbs, and just this, to me, this was just so perfect. And I just encourage you to build a spell, build a talisman, whatever it is, whatever kind of magic you're doing, to let it really flow from your heart. I felt like the more I was playful with this and the more I just trusted myself instead of getting too caught up in like what everybody else thinks about magic or what I should do because somebody else has said that I've got to do it this way. I mean, the main thing is just ground yourself in your power and get a clear intention before you start doing any kind of working. I think those are sort of good guidelines to go by. But letting yourself be inspired and ride the wave of your magical inspiration, I just feel amazing about this. And I look forward to putting this in my special grandkids room where I go for all of my workings. Let's talk divination. Of course, I'm going to talk about cards. If you don't know, I have another channel, Tarot and Witchery. Yeah, let's talk about card divination, and I'm going to share with you this spread. It's the Persephone spread, and I want to let you know when you sign up for my newsletter down below, you'll get access to my free learning library, and you can print this off, and there's all sorts of other stuff in there too, so check that out. This Persephone spread. So I kind of want to dispel a little bit about the Persephone myth. You may be really familiar with the idea that Hades saw Persephone and she was beautiful and the earth opened up and he grabbed her and took her away and raped her. You know, I feel like this is just a really patriarchal, disempowering way to hear this myth, and I don't know that that's actually the true mythology. Who knows? But I like to think about it a little differently. I like to think about maybe the fact that he came up from the underworld, like her subconscious, what was inside of her, what was wanting to be recognized, and he wooed her. And she went away with him to the underworld, where she made this journey to herself, where she became a woman. She descended deeper into herself and into her own embodiment and became the powerful woman who is queen of the underworld. Let me know what you think about that, because a lot of times when we look at Greek myths, we're just faced with a lot of misogyny. And, you know, I like to think that maybe they were just colored over the ages in order to keep women feeling kind of oppressed and to give us role models that lived within their own submission. But we as powerful women do not need to adhere to these ideas any longer. First things first, let's talk about choosing a deck. So I thought about using the Brady Tarot. I really love this tarot. Let's see if they're even right side up. It's an animal deck. And so I thought this would be a good deck to use because what it would do is kind of get my conscious mind out of the way a little bit because I'm working with animal energy. And so that's one route that you can go, is you can choose a deck that will, you can choose a deck that will allow your mind to get out of the way and be even more subconscious, go even deeper. Next step, I thought maybe I would use the Wild Woman Oracle. And the reason why I thought about using this deck is because, well, I love it. It's by Cheyenne Zarate. And I just love this deck. And if you're using an Oracle deck, all Oracle deck, it's totally possible with this spread to do that. And I thought about using this one because it has great archetypal energy. So it's like really big energies. These are like really broad. I mean, this is Artemis here, Inner High Priestess. So this is really big energy. So maybe you want to choose a deck that will allow you to work on really big chunks of yourself and have like far reaching thoughts and ideas. But I decided it was too archetypal, like that. This was too big for what I wanted to do. If you're newer to reading, then I would just tell you, pick a deck that's comfortable for you, something that's going to be easy. If this is your first time doing a bigger spread, don't make it hard on yourself by trying to challenge yourself with a deck. You want to come in at your comfort level and be able to work with the cards confidently instead of feeling like you're really, really reaching or grasping, unless you've got days and days to work on this and you're just in it for, I'm going to learn and I'm going to grow from this. So like I would choose like the Super Lunaris deck for that because this is like my super easy reader. So that's a possibility. What I finally decided on was 2 decks. Yes, 2. I'm going to start off with my center. My center card is going to be from the Seasons of Witch Samhain Oracle. This is so great. If you don't have a deck yet that's kind of for Samhain season and you want a great oracle, this is so good, and I'll have it linked down below. So I'm going to work with that. And then I thought I really wanted a deck that would challenge me, that would go deep, that would really kind of cut in and cut away the BS. I want something that's going to take my mind to, actually take my mind within, I think would be a better way to look at it. Take my mind within so that I can go super deep and is going to be very honest. I want to do some shadow work. I really want to gut this up. So I was kind of vacillating between these 2 MJ decks, MJ Cullinan, because these decks, MJ is a very straightforward writer and I love what she has to write. So aside from my extensive tarot knowledge, I can always go to the book and get something out of it. Maybe you want a deck that does that for you, where even though you're really good with tarot, when you go to the book, it brings it to a new level. I decided against this one. I'm going to be going with her 4 Hexa Tarot, which is a Fae deck, and you'll get to see it as I do this. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to do the reading, and I'm going to draw the cards. And then at the end, I'm going to do a mock reading. Basically, I'm actually going to do my reading right now, but you'll get to see how I digest the cards. And you might just want to watch it for yourself. You may get something from listening to me talk about the cards and what they mean to me. And you'll learn something about how I read cards, and maybe that'll spark something in you. I am currently wearing my Persephone earrings. Can you see those? These are just fabulous. I love them. And I'm wearing my Persephone shirt. Look at this. Isn't this great? It has like a skeleton on it at the bottom, and then the death moth at the top. Love it. So I would love to share these items with you. These are one of a kind, but I will have links below to the decks that I'm about to talk about and use to show you the spread, but also to this shop where there's all sorts of cool witchy clothing there that you may be interested in, and other little witchy items. But before I show you the spread, I want to jump up on my soapbox for just a moment and share some thoughts with you about divining answers. So divination is when we divine things, right? And my feeling is that too often we will sit down with all the good intentions, we'll make up the witchy space, light the candles, create the atmosphere, think about our questions, break out our deck or whatever else we're using to divine with. We'll really get in that space and we'll get these answers. Maybe we'll even journal them. And then we don't do anything with them. We're just kind of like, oh, I did that reading. And, I feel like if we're going to grow as practitioners in our power, it's really about doing the personal work of growing into ourselves and dealing with our issues. And that only comes by turning towards those answers and really honoring what we're receiving from the divine, the universe, God, creation, your inner self, whatever you believe. Turning towards those answers and making the most out of them. So I do want to encourage you that if you're going to sit down and do this spread, do it and then come back to those answers. I mean, this is really a time of the year where it's very profound, it's very powerful. We can shift so much within our being by really turning towards ourselves and being willing to take responsibility. So this is my Persephone spread, and it's the subtitle on it is Descending into the Womb of Self. And this is what is known as like a cross spread. So there's going to be one card in the middle, and then there's going to be cards all the way around. And that's because Samhain is a crossroads time. Some of you may work with Hecate or with other dark goddesses, Persephone, Caradwen. Oh my gosh, there's just so many. Kali, Nephthys. There's so many dark goddesses out there to choose from. The Kaliach. Whoever it is you're working with, maybe you want to invite them in to your circle right now to be with you. Be aware, if you are going to invite a goddess into your circle, you dang well better listen, okay? So there's that. So I'm going to start off with this Seasons of the Witch Seasons of the Witch Oracle here. And make sure I have it upright, I do. And my first card is, I'm trying to get my screen to turn back on so I can see it. My first card is, what do I need to know as I descend into the dark half of the year? So just, don't rush on this. What do I need to know as I descend into the dark half of the year? Just let yourself really feel your way into it, and don't draw a card until you're ready. All right, and through the power of time magic here, because I took a long time to shuffle, I've come up with Greet the Darkness. And the subtitle on this is, Here where the spine bends and the mouth quivers, breathes the hidden, the pieces that make you whole, but cut deep with all of their sharp edges. Well, didn't I say I kind of wanted to cut deep? So I guess that's what I get. Ask, and it will be given to you. This is a principle, isn't it? Okay, so now I've got my 4 Hexatarot out. Really just a lovely deck. I hope I've made enough room here for everything. We may be overlapping a bit. These are big cards and I love them. Love this deck. Okay, and then I'm gonna ask, what support from the other side do I receive? And I will have a word on this for you. So the question is, what support from the other side do I receive? And so you might be saying, like, what's the other side? And I just encourage you to figure out what you want it to be. So maybe you're seeing yourself as in the underworld, and the other side for you is, the above world, the upper world, the conscious mind. Maybe you want to look at it as, coming from the unconscious. Maybe you want to be looking at it as coming from the heavenly realm. Maybe you want to be looking at it as coming from like Anuvan, the other world. Not the underworld, but the other world. It's really up to you to decide where you want this information to come from, but just make sure you get clear in your mind on where that is for you. You just want to know. I always want to know where my answers are coming from. Like, what did I really ask? And so I shuffle until I'm clear, and I really try to get it in my head so that I'm not asking myself later, where did that come from? Right, I've been shuffling for a bit, and I chose to take this card from a guide that I work with. So maybe you want to do that. And it's going to go below because it's the support. It's holding up this tenet, this idea of our message, right? This is what we need to know, and this is the support for what we need to know. What we're going to be doing is we're in this side of the year. And I got the Knight of Fire. Then I'm going to be moving over to here up top. And the question is, what protects and covers during my descent? So covering, let's talk about coverings. Maybe when you think of the word covering, you think of a structure like something that keeps the rain off of you. So maybe that's what you're thinking about. Maybe it's an energy that envelops you kind of like a sweater during this time and keeps you warm. Or a blanket that you can grab and put on. That's another thing to think of. Like maybe this is something that you can choose to use that covers you when you need it. So get that clear in your mind. What protects and covers during my descent? 10 of air. Ooh, ouch. Wow. Okay, I said I wanted to go deep, and I'm going deep. Ouch, man. Okay, number 4 is going to go right over here. And this is, what wisdom do I take from the light half of the year? So this is the past, basically, was the light half of the year that we just left behind. So what wisdom do I take? And of course, we take our wisdom forward. Wisdom is the timely application of knowledge. So, you know, here, what wisdom do I take from the light half of the year? Okay. And I'm getting the 6 of Earth, so 6 of Pentacles. Ooh, interesting, super interesting. I can't wait to kind of open this up and talk about it with you. And then we're going to go over here, and I'm actually going to do a bonus card, which isn't on the spreadsheet itself, but you can choose if you want to do a bonus card. What gift awaits me in the darkness of self? Such a good question. Like whenever we descend into ourselves, we're really mining for treasure. Like our shadow spaces are the place of unclaimed power. Remember that. The places of our darkest shadow are the places of unclaimed power. So, and I got the Hermit. Actually, I love that card. Some people might not think of that as a gift, but I definitely do. Really, really excited to have gotten that card. And I was going to go for the Old Ways Magic Oracle for my extra card, but this is so intense. But I'm going to go for something just a little bit lighter. And I am going to choose a superpower card. And I have a whole video on what the superpower card is on my Tarot and Witchery channel that you can watch. I have so many different ideas for working with Oracle cards over there in my Working with Oracle Cards series. But this is going to be my superpower card, the superpower that I pull out when I need to during this time of the year. This isn't an all the time thing. This is a superpower, right? We don't use our superpowers all the time. So, and this is coming out of the Wild Woman Oracle by Cheyenne Zarate. So I would put this over here, and I don't want to see it right now because I want to read this and not have this making me think anything else. So I'm going to put it off to the side, and we'll go into dissecting this reading and kind of talking about what it means to me in particular. So my card for what I needed to know as I descended into the dark half of the year was greet the darkness. So remember, go back to your question. Don't forget what your question is and the position that you're in. Otherwise, you can't interpret your card correctly. So I need to remember, right? What I need to know as I descend is to greet the darkness. So to me, that really feels like I need to be open to it. When I greet someone into my home, I give you a hug. I bring you into my home and I say, welcome. And, you know, if I know that you're coming, I'm going to be ready for you. I'm actually going to have prepared my home for you. And if you're going to stay the night, you're going to have fresh linens, and I'm going to choose an essential oil to put on your pillow that I think is right for you. You know, I'm going to do all the things to make it so that you have a wonderful time at my home. I want you to feel welcome. And so to me, when I see this card, I need to welcome the darkness. As I go deeper and deeper in, I need to open my arms to it. I need to envelop it. Now, I will later go back and read the book because there are great things in the book here. But I want to tell you, your first impressions of the card are the most important. This is what your subconscious self is saying to you. This is what your higher self, whatever you want to believe, is saying to you. And I think paying special attention to that is really important. So let's just tip this a little bit. Okay, and so then I'm going to go into this card right here, the Knight of Air, which is what support from the other side do I receive? So this is what's propping that up. The Knight of Air, this is the Knight of Swords traditionally in the tarot. Oh no, this isn't the Knight of Air. Holy moly. Oh my gosh. Okay, so see, I heard Knight of Air. That's what I want it to be. Knight of Fire. Yeah, not exactly what I would want it to be. Okay, but this supports me, and that's that ability to charge in. Knight of Fire is Knight of Wands. The ability to charge in, the ability to believe for more, for better, to believe that you can make it happen, that you can do it, that whatever happens, you'll be ready for it. So, that's going to support me. And I think that is something for me. I'm a person who really faces things. And so, I believe that we never are faced with something that we're not ready for. The universe, the YO universe, is always setting us up for having an incredible experience that is custom made for who we are and what we need to become our best selves. And it's our job to partner with that. So, this works for me. I'm a fiery person. I've got 2 fire signs in my big 3, my sun, moon, and rising. Then up here, number 3, what protects and covers during my descent? So for me, when I think of covering, I think of an energy that is kind of enveloping me or creating a lens for me to look at the world through. And I got the 10 of Air. Now, I have to be honest, this isn't really what I want to see, and yet I know that this is what I need right now. I know that I'm ready to do this work. I really wanted to do some heavy shadow work for fall and winter, and it's already begun. And I know that it's just going to get deeper and deeper and more meaningful. So the 10 of Air is the 10 of Swords, and you can see that her wings have been cut off. And she's just laying there, and it's like the rose petals have fallen all around her, which is actually like healing and comfort to me. And she is laying there like, oh my gosh. And I think she's cut her own wings off. To me, that's what it looks like. I will read MJ's words on this later on. But to me, this is, it's over. Like, what's covering me is that things are coming to an end, and it's very apparent. And to me, I'm taking this that I'm the one that has done this. I am the one that has taken my power, and I am ending the things that no longer need to be. I'm ready to race in and do this shadow work. I'm ready to greet the darkness. I'm ready to take those old wings off, knowing that I'm going to get new wings. And that's the way I look at this. I'm going to get some new wings, but I have to be willing to allow this energy that wants to have me remove a lens over my life that is removing what no longer serves me, so that I can receive and actually heal. Like, I see this as like a circle of healing, the rose petals as healing for me. And I find rose is really powerful. It reminds me of my mother. Look for your own clues in the card, like your own associations. Don't necessarily just go straight to the book, although I'm sure MJ has some amazing things that I will look into. Card number 4 here. What wisdom do I take with me from the light half of the year? And I've got the 6 of Earth. And so 6 of Earth, or 6 of Pentacles. The 6s are about reciprocity. The 6s are about exchange. But the 6 of Earth is really about equal exchange. It is about realizing for me, so my wisdom from the light half of the year, and if you're listening to this for yourself, that what we give is what we get. And if we're not getting what we need, then we need to look at what we're giving. And we need to look at where that's coming from and make choices to make life reciprocal, an exchange of equal energies. And so this is something that I've really been looking at over the last year, is equal exchange, like here on my channels, here in my world, like where am I putting my energy? What am I reaping from this? And so I have this wisdom that life is really about give and take. And I have a lot of data, basically. I have a lot of data on what 1 + 1 is adding up to in my life. And so I'm going to take that into this part of the year, and it's going to serve me as I look at the things that I'm letting go of and allowing to let go. I need to be able to look at the data. I need to actually know that. And I do feel like I've grounded this wisdom in my body. Stop and take some time to ground the wisdom that you get in your body so that you're living from it, and keep coming back to that wisdom. Again, wisdom is the timely application of knowledge. So if you don't apply the knowledge that you've gathered, you are unwise. Okay? So let me just say that. It sounds kind of judgy, but hey, it is what it is. And then number 5 over here, what gift awaits me in the darkness of self? The Hermit, just myself. This is number 9 in the tarot, and 9s are lessons that we learn on our own. We do not share these lessons with someone else. We don't do them in the company of others. And so what awaits me in the darkness is myself, like really being with myself. Also, what's really interesting about the Hermit is that there's an invitation from the Hermit card to go into the darkness or to climb up to the top of the mountain. And here she's like kind of in the realm of the subconscious. She's got her feet in with these fish all around her. Wow, it's pretty cool. And she's she's reflecting, like she's looking deeply within. And I love that her wings are just sort of like relaxed around her, keeping her warm. We have the dark sky above. So what awaits me is me. And I think the gift is going to be my true self. And the great thing about the Hermit is that after we have done this work to gather the knowledge to become who we need to be, we have the opportunity to take that knowledge back down the hill or wherever, to fly up into the ethers here and to give that knowledge to other people. So, love that card. I did draw a 5th card, and I made it a superpower card. You could make it anything. You could make this your wink from the universe, whatever you want. You could go over and look at my ideas for oracles. I'm going to link that playlist down, or do I have a playlist? I don't. Shoot, you can look up ideas for oracles. I'll link a couple of the videos down below. But in here, this is my superpower card. So this is what I'm going to pull out when I need to. And I got Rewilding with Grandmother Moon. Wow, this is just perfect for me. I am such a lunatic, so when I need to, I can really pull into the lunar cycles and dive into what Grandmother Moon has to say to me and allow myself to really rewild myself. And I think as I remove what needs to go from my life, and I am receiving this sense of myself, I'm going to want to rewild myself. I'm going to have these spaces of openness. Whenever we have a 10 of Swords moment, there's a real openness, a chasm that opens up, a place where energy wants to be put, and we need to be careful that we place the energy there. So I think in those times when I'm feeling like exposed and vulnerable, choosing to rewild myself in those open spaces is going to let me become really myself and be grounded in what's going on and allow me to come into my greater power. I know this is really different for this channel, for Natural Witchery, for me to actually do a reading, but I hope that I hope that you got something out of it. I hope that maybe you feel like the messages in here are even for you in this next coming time in your life, or you learned something. Let me know what kind of divination you do and whether or not you'll be doing a little dream pillow for yourself or some kind of dream sachet during this time. It's such a powerful time to create something that allows you to really maximize the otherworldly aspect, the liminal aspect of this time of the year.